Okay, and we are live. Get a sip of water here, get my radio voice going. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness. Get another sip of this water. We're in a good mood today, so we're going to keep this one lively. You guys click the like as soon as you get in, and I'm going to put up with no nonsense. I feel like I have been not strict enough with that. Right? We have not been strict enough in cutting out the nonsense. You guys know what nonsense is. Don't do it. Yo, Jason, first question for you. Upper lower split back bench and incline bench. Both upper days and flatten incline one day and flatten overhead the other. If overhead doesn't hurt the shoulders. Darren, I'm going to ask you the question. Which one do you need more, overhead or incline? I think for most people, I'm going to lean in the direction of incline. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. Doing the actual barbell overhead press, if you're not chasing it as a performance exercise, probably waste of time. It's just not the best use of your recovery resources. I know my opinion has changed on that over the years. Like if you're just needing more front delt and shoulder, just use seated dumbbells or something, okay, as a supplemental lift. I don't think we need to do the barbell overhead if you're not going to be an overhead athlete. Okay. Just my opinion as time has gone on. I would just say do incline both of them. How much zone 2 activity for GPP a week? I have no motherfucking idea. Dude, why get rid of the beard and just shave it short? I understand what you're saying, Golden. It just really is that much trouble to keep up with my skin. It's gotten really bad. And that's my only solution. It's like I could have a bleeding face, or I could choose not to have a bleeding face and maybe not get the power carry over from my beard to my deadlift, All right. I assume you still don't endorse overhead press for a classic, but no. Why would you need it? I mean, that's outdated. That's really outdated, honestly. Hey, a coach. Hope you're doing well. Do you think what you're doing for your bench would benefit novices and intermediates more than conjugate? I don't know about that. I think novices can just follow linear stuff. No, not necessarily. I think the problem with a lot of intermediates, they don't handle things like reps and reserve well. They're not good at assessing like what I do on those peak sets. To be honest with you, they really aren't. I don't know that it would be my first choice for them. Easiest way to track workouts, Excel, notebooks, templates. The only thing I've ever messed with is Excel. I have no idea what any of the others even are as far as tracking workouts. Opinions on Bulgarian split squats. Well, I program them for my lifters, right? So what do you think my opinions are? I mean, you see my lifters do them in blogs, right? Some of them. So what would your assumption be my opinion is? Unless you're new to my channel and you aren't aware of that, and that's okay. I like them. Let's say I'm doing an M-rep. I don't think you should do M-reps. I think you should leave a rep in the tank. I get to the 4th rep and can still tell I have 2, maybe 3 reps left. Should I go for 1 more? Just stop a rep short. David, you can't tell if you've got reps left. You shouldn't be failing. Let's come back over to what I said. If you're an advanced enough lifter to do that sort of training, then that means you already know how to assess that. What do you mean maybe fail? It's 100% chance if you know how to assess reps and reserve, there's 100% chance you can stop 1 rep short of failure and never miss a rep. Unless it's just a rare freak occurrence, okay? And if you can't assess it that closely, maybe you need to go back over to training maxes and more conjugate. Don't be doing the rep sets. Do you think shoulder and arm day can be beneficial for someone with lagging delts? And no. Why do we need to add extra days? Why can't Why can't you take your weak links and just simply do a little more sets for them? Brendan, I want you to answer that question. What is preventing you from at any workout that you do, to do a couple extra sets for your weakest link? I don't know why that's such a difficult concept for people to get. If your biceps are lagging, add a couple sets of biceps on your upper days. If your hamstrings are lagging, do a couple sets for your hamstrings extra on your lower body days. See how easy of a solution that is? It doesn't require us to go to the gym a fifth day, a sixth day, and just beat our recovery up. How many days a week do you train? 4. Some sort of carry movement at the end of every workout, a good idea, Sam, only if you're trying to increase GPP, Adele, right? Rob, no one cares about Big Lenny. That's it, you gone. Just knowing that Big Lenny exists gets your privileges revoked. You shouldn't even know who that motherfucker is. The strength channel. All right. Brandon, I don't understand. You came across someone called, well, I don't care who, someone called Pete Katera, who said you should have, why should you have that? There's no reason for that. Do you usually backload carbs when cutting? US Grant, I don't even know what that means. What does backloading carbs mean? So I think that answers the question then. If I don't know what something means, I clearly don't do it. All right. What would you recommend moving to when you have maxed out starting strength? Any sort of intermediate template. You could go to mess with some 5-3-1. You could mess with your own little linear programming. You could do conjugate, right? That's kind of a good time to experiment with some of those other templates. Have you ever gotten a sore low back from RDLs? Maybe, not that I can think of. I mean, I may have at some point 17 years ago that I've forgotten about, but normally no. Why would you get a sore low back from that? I mean, maybe a failed max on a deficit deadlift with 600 pounds, but an RDL? I'm not seeing it, dude. Can we have the +5 hat of weaponsmithing, please? No, we're not going to do that. How's that sound, brother? I'm not competing in powerlifting, just want a healthy and strong. Do you suggest the deepest ass to grass squats? Just go a little below parallel. Not everyone can do ass to grass correctly without, extra strain on their back, bad positioning. Keep that in mind, David. Not everyone is built to squat that way. Changing exercises in the same category every workout, a good idea? No, I don't think that that's a good idea. You're not going to get a proper adaptation of what he's doing. Now, I'm not saying it won't work. You just might need to up your steroid dose a little if you choose to do it that way to compensate. I mean, if you run a lot of gear, it's probably fine. But you should probably do them for long enough to get a training response and an adaptation. I don't know why you guys, I just told you that knowing who Big Lenny is probably ban worthy. You're not a serious fitness person, and you guys going to keep talking about it. Have you seen Brandon Harding's new stack? I can tell you if you want to hear. Sat Nav, go link it to me on the Facebook page in the DMs. That's what I told you guys. For any of the current events, if you guys will link it to me, explain what it is, right? Link it to me, explain what it is. And I can do that. Jason Blaha, thoughts on narrow grip as an accessory lift? You mean for benching? Yeah, that can be a very good accessory for bringing up triceps, or a weak lockout on your bench. What are your thoughts on adding light runs into your training on off days? If you build it up slowly and you care about running, I see no problem with that. The main thing is building it up slowly. Best way to correct weak left arm? There's no best way. That's going to depend on what's specifically going on with your training. And arms, a whole lot of muscles. Do you usually slave/push carbs at the end of the day when cutting? No. Can I replace dumbbell bench press with multi-grip camber bar like the one from Bales of Steel for hypertrophy purposes? I mean, to some extent, as far as it changing the hand positions and everything, it does that. There is a case to be made for the free moving nature, and I've covered that in detail in videos as to why that can be really helpful as a secondary exercise, right? I mean, I've covered that in a lot of detail. Right. Will you do current event in the online fitness community on influencers you've never heard of? Like, you want me to make a list of people I've never heard of, Colin? I don't know how I would make a list of people I've never heard of. Maybe reword your question so that I can understand what you're asking me. Best corrective exercises to fix interior pelvic tilt box squats. How to access to, I'm not going to tell you where to go find your steroids. Sat now, do it on Instagram now. Some say hamstrings overtrain very easily. Some say we don't work them enough. What's the right amount of work needed? Why do you think that they're different from other muscles? I want you to think about that. Why would hamstrings, is there anything in the research that says hamstrings are different from other muscles? No, now biceps actually seem to have the lowest volume training response out of just about any muscle, yet everyone wants to overwork them. What do you think about, I don't know anything about purple dumbbells. Best way to grow arms, lifting weights. Thoughts on having sex between sets to up testosterone. Look, dude, if you have time to have sex between sets and a partner, by all means, do whatever you need to do. But there is nothing you can do to boost your testosterone enough to benefit you in any way that does not involve a syringe. That's it. If you're worried about your testosterone levels, I want to be clear. Okay. I want to be clear. If your plan to boost your testosterone does not involve a syringe, you are wasting your time, and you probably shouldn't even worry about the existence of the word, unless you're also taking a biology class in which you're going to be tested on the meaning of testosterone, like by the professor. There is no scenario in which you need to know the existence of that word. Other than that, unless you're biology class, medical student, or you plan on using a syringe. There you go. That's it. Drug-free lifters don't need to actually know the existence of that word. It's not beneficial to you. Do you plan on adding back in? I don't plan on doing any overhead pressing. Why are all the most yoked guys at gym on bro splits? Maybe at your gym. Maybe it's because the bodybuilding world has told them to do bro splits, and tons of guys who are on lots of gear then do bro splits, and therefore they're jacked. Maybe it's not the bro split, it's because that's what guys on steroids have been told to do. And let's come back over to the point. The guys who train really hard at your gym who are on anabolics are probably going to be the biggest guys. Colin, no, that's not how it works. Colin, you need to go research things like half-life, active time, and stuff like that. That shouldn't even be the sort of question we're asking in here. That's not how testosterone works. Unless you're using no ester, like just straight T and E. Alternatives to reverse hyper. There is no alternative to the reverse hyper. There's a reason I tell people to buy one. There's a reason I dropped $1,000 on my reverse hyper. If I thought there was an alternative, do you think I would spend $1,000 on it and take up all that space in my garage? If I thought there was an alternative. They're on bro split. I can promise you the biggest guys in your gym aren't on SARMs. They're on real drugs. How often to switch exercises? That's not a straightforward question. I'd say it's definitely going to depend upon overuse. If you get signs of overuse, inflammation, regional inflammation, it's definitely time to rotate something. What lifts of the big three do you think someone should have before trying to become a strength coach? I don't think it works that way. R. Kelly. We're going to get musical in this one today, I think, by the end, with you in here. We'll have to sing before this one's up. Are you cutting at the moment, Darko? I'm not actively trying to cut, but it's kind of getting to the point where I don't want to eat as much as I need. So I actually dropped like a pound this week. Coach, do you have English, motherfucker? Do you speak it? Hey, Jason, what's the benefits of chains versus bands? Chains are purely a linear increase in mechanical tension, while bands can elicit a stretch reflex. They're just different beasts, right? They're actually very different in terms of the training response. Coach, why did bodybuilders claim dumbbells are superior but half rep everything? I don't know. That's a funny commentary, and it's one that I have made in the past. Now from Ukraine, but congrats on your 315 break. Thank you. Thank you. Ukraine, so you were Slavic like I am. So what if a guy with a bench of 225, squat of 315, 4 deadlifts becomes a coach? I hope he's had a lot of experience coaching other lifters, because he doesn't have much real world experience. I mean, but I'm not saying there's a set number, but I'm also going to look at that and go, how qualified is he to coach strength if that's the biggest numbers you ever put him? And I'm not saying you have to be elite, but I will say that you do need to have some actual experience with advanced programming and getting people strong, and that guy doesn't really have it. Hey, coach, are you thinking about buying more equipment? No, dude, I'm out of space. I am completely out of space. Is there an exercise to always do and never switch out tripod face pulls? Reverse hypers, I would say. Definitely reverse hypers. I'm going to say maybe even flat bench and conventional deadlift for close variations. Need to karaoke Glock City again. That was awesome when I did Glock City, bitch. How'd that go? I actually had the 2 Glocks in my hand when I did it. It was Glock City, bitch, Glock City, bitch. Was it 10, 40s, and 45s or something like that? I don't remember because I grabbed each caliber as I did it. Is touching your chest more important than completely locking out on the bench press for hypertrophy? Yes. Thoughts on behind the neck pull-ups? That's a great way to destroy your shoulders. Jason, if I don't do any row, how much sets of deadlifts do I need each week? I don't know. Jason, do you know any Czech or any plans to learn it? I speak Czech as well. I know Yashavash. I can understand some Czech, Darko, but I don't actually speak it. And the only reason I understand it is because I had a great grandmother who used to babysit me until I was about 3. Who did not learn English. 200 tests, 200 primo first cycle blast bloods at week 12. I think that's reasonable. How much chicken are you eating these days? All the chicken. I'm going to eat every chicken in the room. Love my chicken. Got to have my chicken. Oh, God. You guys remember that? The bust a window out your car YouTube thing like 12 years ago. That was funny as hell. Have you ever heard bodybuilders say that squeezing a muscle is good for hypertrophy? How true is not true at all? There's no benefit. None. Do you take melatonin? Yes, I do 3 milligrams a night. Thoughts on using test 502 anadrol 50s? I don't know about Droll, dude. I would not add Droll for your first one. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I'm not going to sing all that. Is doing cycles with PCT BS? I think people should blast and cruise. I think gear is a lifetime commitment. I think once you take that first shot, you need to be prepared to do that for the rest of your life until you die. My opinion. Do you think pastured organic chicken tastes better than normal factory chicken? You know what? I love factory farming. Oh man, I'm going to get some hate there. I think factory farming is fantastic, and I think it's essential for the survival of the human race. People need to quit hating on it so much. What do you think of squats during chest day? I don't believe in programming chest days and arm days at all. What are your opinion on doing dips with a slingshot to prevent shoulder pain? If your shoulders hurt doing dips, you need to just not do dips. I see, but I want to get strong as hell. I don't know that anadrol should be in your first cycle is what I'm saying. Did you know that Mark Ripito thinks that the trap bar is completely useless? Yes, I do, and I'm not a big fan. Thoughts on air fryers? They're pretty good. Do you like ACGF coming off for the last few weeks to get balls working again? If you're going to come off, you definitely need to do all of that. You need to do like a power PCT, which Dr. Scally kind of pioneered, right? He's an endocrinologist who works with this stuff. You should look into that. No, dude, I plan on staying in Texas indefinitely. Do you think it's important to include neck training? No, I don't think it's necessary. I think it can have benefits. Boy, so do you think it's too hard to say because everyone's definition of a great physique changes. It's so varied, and we have such extreme standards on the internet. Thoughts on granola bar as a snack? I suppose that's good. Depends on what's in it. Blaha, what's your opinion on street lifting competitions where they have a weighted dip, weighted pull-up, back squat mode? I think that is an extremely high risk of injury. Why not just do powerlifting? It's safer. And it's a very accepted set of strength standards. What state that you've been to have the most jack guys? I'll go with Texas. How can you, Colin, I can't tell you how to go to your doctor and get a prescription. You're going to have to figure that out. Who is your biggest inspiration in fitness? I'm going to go with my bro, Clint Darden. Clint Darden. We talk regularly. He's actually my biggest inspiration, I would say. One of the kindest people you will ever meet, one of the most non-judgmental people you will ever meet. And the guy has trained through multiple bouts of chemo, all sorts of stuff, and he just keeps putting in the work. Is there any reason to eat anything other than lean protein, dairy, nuts, fruits, vegetables if you don't want to? That's kind of your big ones for health. Like that's usually your healthiest foods generally, all of that. I mean, so unless you just want to add other stuff, you don't have to. For elbow health, how much band push downs do you really need to be doing? If you have pain, I would do very high reps every day for just a little bit. No, I don't think that it's by and large true that ethnic stereotype, Maine. There's a small degree of truth to it, but it's one of those where people have taken a very small bias and created an enormous ethnic stereotype around it, to the point to where the stereotype just isn't true. But isn't that true of most stereotypes? There's a little bit of truth, and then people blow them way out of proportion, right? Do you find the gyms in India have different sets of equipment more? I have no idea. I've never been to India. Training advice for new dads. Try to find a way to get that sleep, dude. I can tell you that as a coach when I have clients with their first kid, usually we're just trying to find a way for them to get sleep. That's the biggest struggle. Is there any evidence that unilateral exercises help fix imbalances? Not always. Because tradition has told them that that's the way to do it. Are calves mostly genetic best way? Yeah, they're very genetic. But they still respond like other muscles to training. I don't train my calves though. Mine are like 18 inches ripped, and I don't train them. How do you know when you're ready to start lifting again at a left wrist sprain, a mild one? I would need to have more details, man, to really help you there. Sorry. You need to be training. You just don't want to restrain the wrist. You need to be doing at least light work for it. You don't not move injuries. If gyms had no reverse hyper, what's the next best option? Do some band pull-throughs. There's no replacement for it, but I would do band pull-throughs. Do you think the military physical fitness test a good measure of strength in GPP or 2E? No, I think it's a reasonable measure. We could argue all day long about what's the most optimal, but it's reasonable any way you break it down. I was thinking 200 test unit period. I don't think you need orals on your first. I wouldn't throw raw in. I think without it, that sounds real good. If I get jacked, will I get chicks as an ugly dude? Maybe. You know what chicks like? Honestly, if you're confident from getting jacked and looking better, that can help. But if you still lack confidence, it's not going to help you. You know what chicks like? They like humor. That's a big one, dude. That'll go further than anything. Being funny. And that can include being funny looking. If she looks at you and laughs, dude, you're in there. You know what I mean, dude? That sense of humor. Women like humor. They like funny guys, dude. Think of it this way. On the 1 to 10 scale, if you're really funny, that's like 3 points added right there. Straight up. Okay? Being funny. Even if it's funny looking, funny smelling, whatever, man. They just like funny. Financial stability is a big one too. Confidence, way up there. Coach, don't you need some pec adduction exercises to maximize hypertrophy? Nope. There's no evidence to suggest that you do. If anything, the evidence suggests that it's largely irrelevant. Coach, does Vegan Gains take drugs? Is he a fitness influencer? Okay, so here's the question you need to always ask. When you say, does a person take drugs? You ask, are they a fitness influencer? If they are a fitness influencer, the answer is the same. So you say, okay, fitness influencer, yes, well then they take drugs. See how easy that is? Foolproof method to keep you from getting caught. Right there. Bam. That's 90% of the cons completely gone right there. Are you black pilled? No, I think the black pill movement's kind of stupid. I'm not big on the big toe thing or the manosphere. Any plans for more podcasts? Yes. Has evidence-based become a marketing term people use to sound more relevant to see self-proclaimed evidence-based experts promoting BS cherry-picking studies and taking studies out of context? I think it has. But can being funny save the manlets, you think, or is it over? I don't know, man. I know manlets who still get girls. they're usually very confident. Now, if they're insecure, the mere fact that they're using the word manlet means you're insecure about it. You're fucked. That's it. Give up. It's over. If you're insecure about it, there's not a snowball's chance in hell. There's nothing you can do. That's it. Done. Can fruit be replaced by vegetables? Well, it depends on how many carbs you're trying to get. Do you plan on adding back hip thrusts or bridges to your routine? I don't plan on it, but I might one day. If you're super focused and efficient, can you get great gains by completing the 10 sets a week per muscle group and 3 hours total, 2 days of lifting? The 2 days of lifting is really a problem, right? That's where I'm going to have the issue. I don't have a problem with 10 sets. Jeremy Ether is evidence-based. Yeah, he's full of shit. Your interviews are awesome. Will you do more fat loss focused ones? Maybe. If I do 5 sets of bench press and 5 sets of incline press every week, should I do JM presses or skull crushers for triceps? That's going to depend on what's going on with your recovery. Coach, are you still using sled? No, dude, it is. All right, Greg, look at the news and look at the weather in Texas where I'm at. Okay. Do you think there is any possibility at the age of 46 that I'm going to be out there dragging a fucking sled? I would probably die. I'm alive, so the answer is obviously no. I have not died of a heat stroke. Okay, if a client has a hip hinge limitations due to medical condition and can't do headless, what main lifts do you use with them? I have no idea. We need to fix this hip hinge situation. Thoughts on reverse grip bench press for upper chest? No, I'm going to pass on that. Is tire flipping a good cardio activity? Yes. Do you think if I lower my training frequency, I will lose its stall and muscle gains? Not necessarily. Do you think climate change? R. Kelly, I don't want to speculate on such a topic that is outside of my scope of knowledge. But you got to carry the boats. David Goggins is beat up and banged up like crazy. Are you sure that Goggins is who you want to get fitness advice? I mean, the guy is obviously a bad mofo, okay? And you cannot detract from that. I want to be clear. Goggins is a bad mofo. But, so we take that pause. Is that really who you want to take your fitness and training advice from? Do you really think that is ideal if you want to be strong and fit, injury-free? All right. What do you find problematic with 2 days a week gives you a lot of time? It's just, dude, it's just not, it's ridiculously too low. Will prowlers at the end of sessions affect recovery? Potentially, yes. You still have to recover. I'm sorry, I got taken aback by this next thing, asking about squat play. Dude, why do you perverts and weirdos come in here, man? That's it. You don't get to post anymore. I'm from the UK, no clue about the weather in Texas. Greg, let me put it this way. The average temperature here right now at 7 in the morning is hotter than any temperature you have ever experienced in your entire life ever in the United Kingdom. And it gets a lot hotter later in the day. I'm going to repeat that again. The 7 a.m. weather here, because I spent 3 years in your country, the 7 a.m. weather here right now is hotter than anything I experienced in the 3 years I was in your country in the summer ever. You would pass out if you were to walk around at noon here. Being a Brit, if that's what you're climatized to, if you got up and tried to take a walk around the block here at noon or 2 p.m., you would probably pass out. You would black out. How much has your electric bill gone up with the AC on max? It's probably tripled. How do you know your calves measured? Because I measured them one time. Will you ever go back to the public gym? You know, Coomer, yes, I invested $30,000 into building this amazing home gym so that I could go back to a public gym. that has less equipment and I have to travel to. Now, does that make any sense to you? Come on now. Think about it for a moment. Just step back. Think about it. Look at the gym I have built. Look how much I've invested. Now, how does that make any sense? Would you? Can only do cardio in AC rooms during the brutal Texas summer. You're getting leaner and leaner. Any plans to get super shredded? Dude, I don't even want to get super shredded. I just don't want to gain fat again. I'm just trying not to gain body fat when I gain muscle. Trying to just stay at a healthy body fat. I don't have any plans to intentionally get shredded. You know? Darren, it's usually pretty hot. This one's been hotter than average, but yes, it's freakishly hot here. Should specific core work be done during every workout? No, not necessarily. Defiant down here. I love Texas, but our summers are rough, dude. Yeah, they really are. Who would you say is more relevant, Greg Knuckles or Park Carter? Both of them are evidence-based. Oh, man. Relevant? Who is more knowledgeable or who's more relevant? I mean, Greg's a smart guy. I don't necessarily like a lot of things about Greg. He's a smart guy. Paul Carter probably has a bigger lifelong following, has had more influence on the industry. I'd miss seeing the girls at the gym. You see the girls at the grocery store. Today in Southern Texas at 7 a.m. was 85. Yeah. Let's see. Is the overhead press and face pull combo usually enough stimulus for most people to develop medial, you mean lateral deltoids? I don't think you need the overhead press. I mean, honestly, if that area is really what you want to focus on, don't get me wrong, face pulls are great. But if you say, hey, I am really serious about this particular muscle, you should probably do laterals or upright rows. Do you prescribe plyometric movements to your clients if they're lacking explosiveness? Yes, some of them. Thoughts on Alpha Destiny's suggestion to dirty bulk? I don't know that most people should dirty bulk. If using a standard barbell, do you generally recommend high bar or low bar for good mornings? On the good morning, a low bar. All right. Arcade, they don't wear skin tight leggings at your grocery. My grocery stores, I see the little booty shorts. You see the skin tight leggings, all that. Maybe you just don't live in the right place. All right. Really, 40 in London, dude? I never noticed it even get hot the entire time I was in the UK. Not one day do I remember it ever getting hot. Love Matt, because my arms change in size, right? My arms have actually changed in size. My calves haven't. So I can go back in time and measure my calves 5 years ago, 8 years ago, right? I can go back in time 10 years, measure my calves, and I know they're within an inch of that. They don't change. I haven't measured my arms in a while. My arms are the biggest they've been since I've been on YouTube. I think the pictures and videos show that, though. They're bigger than they have been at any point on here, but I don't know exactly what they are. What's the quality of women in your part of Texas? Looks, having lived in different places, I'm going to say it's definitely above average here. I've been on holiday and not trained and gained fat. Can I go on a cut and regain the strength I lost during the holiday being in a deficit? You're not necessarily going to regain the strength in the deficit, but you can afterwards. Are snatch, grip, high pulls good exercise for side delts and upper back? Yeah, they can be. A little rough on stimulus to fatigue, but they're very effective. Am I the only one who thinks it's disgusting to see? I haven't seen what he's doing with that, but probably. High reps for losing fat 20s. No, that's not how it works, Greg. Really, even your R. Kelly fan. I'm sorry, I keep calling you R. Kelly. That probably makes you happy as an R. Kelly fan, being associated with him. Go back and look at the footage when I was 240 plus and doing those 600-pound squats, and look at the current footage and look at my arms. I think my arms are bigger down at 225 than they were when I was heavier. What exercises built your arms? JM presses, curls, band press downs. Your biceps must be 18, 19 inches. You had jacked arms back in the day. They probably are at least 18. I don't know that. I haven't measured in a while. They probably are. Hey, Jason, you are an OG YouTuber and you are needed for the community. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Just started deadlifting. How does one determine whether or not to pull sumo versus conventional? So learn conventional first, right? Learn conventional first and then assess. I don't know what my arms measure now. 50 cent. They were 16 at one time, but my arms are clearly bigger now than the last time you guys have seen them measured, right? I mean, it's very, very blaringly obvious. So you know that they aren't 16. I just wanted to ask, as a novice, should my program have, then pause it, pause your benching. Are band press downs better than regular push downs or cables? That's a nuanced topic. Better for what purpose? I think for overall health, tendons, I think the bands are better. We could argue about hypertrophy. I need to get measuring tape and do it live to shut. Colin, let us be clear here. You cannot shut up haters, okay? It is impossible to shut up a hater. So anytime you use a strategy with the plan of shutting up a hater, your plan is doomed to fail, okay? I can tell you right now, if I got up and made a video saying, I just want to apologize for any wrong thing I've ever done in my life, and then I made $1 million and donated it to orphans and baby puppies, and then I ran into a building on fire and rescued a bunch of orphans and a litter of puppies out of there and got burns from doing it, and then I tape measured my arms at 22 inches and did a 500-pound bench press in competition. If I did all that in the same week, right, I would still have haters. I would still have haters. There would still be people who are like, fuck this guy. All right? They really would. I used to watch Cali Muscle when I first got looking and realized you're the one giving actual good info for drug-free guys. I appreciate it, man. All right, I think it's getting close to time to wind this down. Is a 500-pound deadlift considered? No, I'd say for most guys, it's definitely advanced. That's not intermediate. All right. Yep. All right, guys, we're at 43. I'll stay in here a few more minutes, right? Love Mag. No, I don't think my arms are 19. No, I doubt they're only 16 and a half. That would surprise me if they were that small. I mean, I could be wrong. All right. Best carb. There is no best carb source. I mean, we could argue that starches in general are probably your best choice for carbohydrates, but not necessarily for foods. Sprints for fat loss thoughts. No, man, your cardio doesn't help you as much as you think it does for dedicated fat loss of any type. Building muscle, going into a calorie deficit. Coach, you still recommend long, slow? I think that's the way. I think non-aggressive cuts are the best way to keep muscle, right? I think that's better for overall body composition. Slow bulks, slow cuts. You still consume large amounts of Greek yogurt. Yeah, I consume quite a bit. I eat Greek yogurt every day, every single day. Coach, you ever try equip lifting? I messed with it for just a short bit. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. My delts, yeah, I guess my delts are getting big. I started adding some laterals again. Probably come up a bit. You can't OD on Greek yogurt. This is true. What model is your blue Letty? I don't know. I don't know. You guys look at it so you can identify the model. Right. There you go. You can screenshot that for later. I don't remember the exact model. I bought it a while back. All right, guys, we're at 45 minutes. I think it's time to wind this down. Right? I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time.